works so you can play. MiniWarGaming's Beat the Cooler Bat Rep!
Hey there, MiniWarGamers. Owen here with Dan for the second part of our escalation bat reps. I'm being molested on internet. Anyway, this time 500 points of Tyranids against his Eldar, and stay tuned for the armies. Here we have 500 points of Eldar. Call them out, Dan.
There are 4 squads of 5 Dire Avengers, no upgrades. And then we have an HQ slot of 3 Warlocks. They all have Destructor.
Look at that rainbow group.
And they also have the Spirit Seer, so they can help control these guys, and they're just, 4 Wraith cards.
Woo! And here's what I brought. No, I'm going to show you. Here's 500 points of Tyranids, if you're silly and bring all infantry. We've got 18 Horner Guns, we've got 20 Gargoyles, and as our HQ, we have the Parasite of Mortrex, because I've never seen him used, ever, and I'm using it. And then 18 more guns. Here we are deployed. Those crafty Eldar over there, and over there, and, Tyranids. Woo! That's that. And the Parasite. Does Dan steal the initiative? No. Is it night fighting? Should have checked that first. No. Do we have Warlord traits? Find out next time on No. And we start off with turn 1. The Tyranids just kind of advancing up, running across the board, trying to gain as much distance as I can, because really all I need to do is close the gap and his army will go away. And basically my Tyranids, they'll just kind of creep up. The Gargoyles are all flying away, just trying to get as close as I can, because honestly I don't really care about dangerous terrain or losing models from it. So here I am trying to get my models to fit, and you'll notice every time the camera shakes, it's when Dan has a problem with me moving a guy. And in the same thing, in the other bat rep, you'll see every time I shake the camera, it's when Dan moved the guys on a fudged amount. But we were just playing really for fun, so if you ever wonder why the camera shakes, it's because one of us is accusing the other of cheating, which is us just messing around. But anyway, I just continued to advance up with my Hormigons, running across the board, and they happen to conveniently all fit together. Trying to run now, or at least make more distance with the little Gargoyles there, trying to keep getting further ahead. And of course the Parasite is in that pile as well, who after this game, he's probably my favorite character. These Gargoyles, they just jump into the water. Water slide down me. And while those ones in the middle are having fun, the rest of them are just kind of scrambling along, hoping to not get shot up. We find out what kind of river this is. It turns out it's Industrial Ooze, so it's a 5-up cover save or 4-up cover save. And if they go to ground, they get an additional cover save, but they all have to take a toughness test. Start off with Eldar turn 1. He's pulling back his Dire Avengers until he realized that with the new FAQ that they can only shoot as far as their guns have range. So even though he can fire into that unit, he can't kill all of that unit. He can only kill the guys that are actually in range of his guns. Which, at the same time, we had a bit of a rules debate about it. And basically you'll see, I'm not sure if it comes up in this game, but you will see it in other bat reps and future bat reps. If, for example, a model in a unit has a flamethrower and the rest of the unit has burst cannons, the flamethrower wounds can be spread up to 18 inches out into a unit, because that's the range of the longest weapon in the unit, even though the flamethrower template only touches, say, 3 or 4 or 5. So, just so you're aware. But anyway, and he's now shooting into my Gargoyles here. Tons of shots, tons of hits, and he kills a bunch of them, but does not quite make it to the Parasite. And now he's firing away from the other side at those guys, which, once again, clears out more Gargoyles, because they really are just gaunts.
And in turn 1, Eldar. Oh,
Only the guys who are...
They're coming. So the water park apparently isn't all giggles.
Tyranids turn 2 begins, and the Parasite and his Gargoyle buddies come running out of the water slide and pool that they've been hanging out in, because frankly they've just had enough of their friends getting shot up by these silly Dire Avengers, and the rest of the Gaunts come along because they don't have a choice in the matter. The Parasite says go, the Gaunts go along, and they just kind of herd up behind. These guys rushing through the terrain and doing their run at the same time, so they end up running just 12 right into the next river. which turns out that it's also Industrial Ooze. So they jump right back in there for more cover saves. So there's all the Gaunts. And now the assault begins between the Parasite and the group of Dire Avengers. They get to Overwatch, they get a wound, I look out, and the Gargoyle dies instead of the Parasite. And then they charge in. I have to roll 3 for difficult, but they make it anyway. And so the Parasite gets to be in close combat. And like I said, I've never seen this guy used up until right now, and you'll see why I like him so much. His unit gets to go first because I assaulted through difficult terrain, which does kill one of my Gargoyles, but then the Parasite goes. He's got 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, he hits 4 times, wounding on 2s, 6s are instant death and rending, and then the Gargoyles attack doing 2 more. So the Gargoyle wounds kill 1, and then the saves that he gets from the Parasite. So 2 got killed by the Parasite. So these guys right here, they have to do a toughness test, or they turn into D6 Ripper Swarms. So he fails both, so I get 2 D6 Ripper Swarms. Bam, 7. And these guys have to do a morale check, which they fail, and then they get overrun by the Parasite, and then, or rather they don't, but they flee off the board. So the Parasite then moves, and at the end of the assault phase, I have to place as many Ripper Swarms as I got within 6 inches. And so he's now surrounded by 7 Ripper Swarms. Eldar turn 2 begins with the Wraithguard moving into our swamp. They're trying to come into our pool, and they trip they trip on the sidewalk, basically, is what happens there. So no luck for them. But then all these Warlocks who happen to have Destructor move up. Oh, on a side note, for all you Eldar players, or people who know Eldar, you'll probably realize that Dan's list doesn't have an HQ in it. He had thought that you can bring just a Seer Council as an HQ, as opposed to an attachment to an HQ. So we didn't realize that until about 20 minutes in the game, when I kept asking him if he has a Farseer, and then Chris came over and explained to him that he can't do what he's doing. But we just agreed that his whole group there counts as his HQ. So yeah, anyway, I was just explaining right here that the Flamethrower can only kill 9 because his guys only have the range of the Flamethrower. But it does kill that entire front group, and that's that. So yeah, that's why you don't see a Farseer. It's just that group of Warlocks wandering around with Destructor. And now he shoots into these guys with the Dire Avengers, and they kill that guy, which Dan just tossed out of the way. And then the other group fires in, and they get a bunch of shots as well, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. Kills 2 more, and they get slaughtered, or kills a bunch more. Now they're getting shot by the Wraithguard, which kills another 2, and so there's just 1 poor Gaunt left, who passes his leadership, so he just sits there. Now he fires his Dire Avengers into the Parasites group, which ends up doing a bunch of wounds, killing 3, and then does a wound to the Parasite as well. So the Parasite goes down to 2 wounds, and all of his Gargoyles are gone now.